Hi and welcome back. In this talk, I'd like to talk about the system of quality management, the quality management system or quality management as a system, but taking a systems view as opposed to simply a requirements view where you're looking at what requirements must this quality management system satisfy, or as is frequently also seen as a process-centered view where somehow you're looking at merely the transformation of product. So we'll look at the systems view of quality management, or the quality management system. So we'll look at where the quality management fits within the strategic level, the tactical level, and the operational level of the organization, and do some sort of analysis based on the hierarchy of systems within it, and look at the interactions between the quality management system and other systems within the organization. So we'll get started. Now, that diagram that you can see there, or the picture, I guess you'd call it, comes from Romler and Braish, and was developed by them to illustrate how organizations create value. And this was out of their studies into Motorola in the early 1990s. They're trying to find out how work actually got done. Now, if you look at the central rectangle there, you see three levels of organization. You get two of them called management. The upper one is the strategic level management. It's intended to be the board of directors and CEO at that level of organization that sets the policy and overall direction for the company. In the rectangle below it, you get management again, called within the businesses, the management systems. Now, this is intended to be the tactical level of management that largely deploys the resources that they've been given to achieve whatever they need to achieve. And underneath that is the value creation system, which you can see is broken out there into three major boxes. Again, I'm sticking strictly with Romler and Braish. They labeled those boxes. The product was launched. That is, there had been a conceptualization of it. It's been proposed, possibly test marketed or something like that, but the idea was accepted. The next box is that the service has been sold. That is, you've set up all of the marketing for it, the sales channels and all that sort of stuff. And the last box was delivered, which all programmers will relate to the expression a small matter of programming. Having launched it and sold it, now we've got to build it. And it's not always as simple as that. So that was their value chain, their flow of value chain. The whole idea is that IT systems might be slightly different, but it doesn't alter the fact that there is a value chain starting from some conceptualization of the system and going through eventually where the software system or service is deployed and is working. Now, around that, if you look at the one up the top, we're talking about the external environment in which the organization operates. And you may or may not be able to see it there. You get the geopolitical environment, the regulatory environment, the economic environment, the natural environment, and the culture in which the organization operates. All these things do affect how the organization can create value and what value it creates. So it's important. On the left, you have resources coming into the organization, and this can be, as it's got it there, the capital resources, human resources, materials and equipment and technology, and possibly other things that they haven't listed. On the right, we have the things that the value creation system produces, which is goods and services, this is true, but also return on investments that go back to the stakeholders. So that was the value creation system according to Romler and Braish, and it's a reasonably good illustration of a system with all the components of it there and all the relationships between them. If we look now at software development, specifically at the quality management system as expressed in ISO 9001, and turn that into, well, which parts of ISO 9001 fit in which levels of the systems hierarchy. You can see it in this diagram, where at the top level you get the strategic management processes that are responsible for setting up and maintaining the quality management system itself. Under that, you have the tactical management processes that are responsible for providing the resources for the quality management system, and of course ensuring that it is in fact functioning. But in the innermost box, or lowest box depending on your perspective, we have the process involved in actually creating the value of the software system. Those design and development processes, the measurement, analysis and improvement processes, they are the direct value creation processes that have to sit within the structure of the organization. Now, the value creation process or the quality management system sits within the organization and links with a lot of other systems. So you get the quality management system obviously interferes or interacts with the IT software development system and delivery system of that. But it also interacts with the financial system, with the HR system. Financial system because you've got to get the money somewhere and you've got to account for everything. The HR system has to supply people, train people, keep it all going. The sales and marketing system, once you build it, I mean, somebody has to deal with it, somebody has to sell it and service it. There quite possibly are many other systems going on in an organization that the software development interacts with in some way. But the essential point is the quality management system doesn't sit alone in splendid isolation. It has to interface to other systems, and we have all of these systems working away. Now, we'll go through and review the different levels of system and how they operate and the kind of things that can go wrong. We'll start with the strategic level. Now, at that level, you might think that the board of directors can do what they please. No, this is not entirely true. They have constraints imposed on them by the external market and by the stakeholders. They get directives from the, you could say directives, nobody in the general market sits there and says, you will do this. But the market generally has expectations of what this organization will supply. So it is directives in its own way. The job of the strategic layer is to take all that information and to interpret it in terms of what that means for the quality management system in this case. What is the quality policy? How are we going to make a dollar? What is our value proposition? Do we go for ordinary quality? Do we go for zero bugs? What is our quality proposition? So what is our quality policy? For example, we could say the quality policy is we will provide the best quality consistent with delivering on time. So that explains it pretty clearly. Our priority as an organization is to deliver on time. We'll give as good a quality as we can within that, but time to market matters first. Or we could, if we were developing medical devices, for example, say we won't kill anyone. Just putting it a bit badly, but we could say, well, our products must be defect-free, or have no known defects. So that sets guidelines for the organisation to say, well, if you know that there's a defect at the time of shipping, you can't ship. You have to have all of the known defects cleared before you can ship. That then has consequences on delivery time and time to market and delivery delays and all that sort of thing. So that's the policy, the directives and the resources. They can allocate the resources there at the gross level. What resources are going to be allocated to the quality management system to carry out those duties and to achieve the ends intended by the quality policy? So those things need to be balanced up. Now, to get information back we get it's shown there. You get the audit and assessment information back, the management review. So you get the information back about how well the quality system is functioning. And that, then presumably, they can get that information to decide whether it's working as intended or not. Now, it's importantly, the emergent properties and the feedback goes back up to the market as well. Let's have a look at the kinds of things that can go wrong at this stage. What can strategic management get wrong? Well, they can get the wrong focus on the customers or focus on the wrong customers. They can have the wrong quality policy. A lot of the quality policy I have seen tend to be aspirational, like we will give top quality, whatever that means. And it's something that really is pretty meaningless and doesn't help much at all. But if you're putting in devoting a lot of effort to quality in a field, say web designs or something like that, that really doesn't need that level of quality, then you're just wasting money. If you're putting in lax quality standards when it's life critical, then sooner or later you're going to do some severe damage. So that can be a problem. The other things that can go wrong at this level of the system is you can have unclear responsibilities or authorities. You find that all over the place, but it is a problem, and you do have to deal with it. However, one of the worst, I guess, is that there is inadequate management review. That is, management not quite knowing what this quality management system is supposed to do, doesn't quite know what to ask for, and doesn't get good, clear indications about what the quality management system is supposed to do and whether it's in fact doing it. So poor information coming back doesn't help anybody, and this can go wrong at this level of the organization. Let's now look at the tactical level. This is where the quality policy and money and other sort of things provided by the strategic level are broken down and translated into resources that are given to the quality management system. That is a place to sit the number of people, the budget to run its affairs, the infrastructure, and all that sort of stuff. So what resources are given there? They then are able to determine what they do at the operational level. They get directed at the operational level. You run this many audits, you do this many inspections, you gather this amount of information, that kind of thing. The tactical level then gives information back to the strategic level, and the emergent property that comes out of it is the quality of the products that are being produced. Now the problems at the tactical level, again, insufficient or wrong resources. That'll kill it every time. If you do not have enough resources to allow the quality management system to do its job as it is intended, well, it's not going to get done, is it? You could have insufficient or the wrong infrastructure. We frequently have this kind of thing where the quality management people might sit in the hallway, or there aren't computers for them, or there are computers, but they're 10 years old and they hardly function. But more particularly, the tools such as the tools to record the data, the instrumentation that you may need within the quality management system. So those sort of things can go wrong. A poor work environment we probably also covered. But again, subtly, poor reports or measures. If the people running the quality management system don't quite understand what information they need from the operational layer, then they're not going to run the quality management system that well. And this happens a lot. People measure what they can measure, not what's useful to measure. Well, after that brief interruption, we'll start again. At the operational level, you get all the processes of product realization. This is where the value is added, and this is where the effect of the quality management system is felt most directly. The quality management system requirements feed into the choice of processes or the choice of techniques within those processes, I guess the choice of information that is sought, and the information that's recorded. So they materially affect the processes. And these are the processes of product realization. So all of the design, the planning, the project management, the actual production of the software, testing, and I guess the build and release processes too. Though there are also the processes of measurement, analysis, and improvement that also required to be done. And remember that includes the measurement of customer satisfaction, as well as measurement, product measures, process measures, measures of quality and use, so that kind of thing. So these things are part of the operation of the quality management system. Now, the same thing holds. From the tactical level, you're going to get the goals. These are the, aside from the delivery goals and the budget goals and things like that affect the entire project, you get the quality management goals, and that is the criteria for release, the quality criteria. How many defects are you going to allow? What behavior does this thing have to exhibit? Is it going to be super reliable? Is it going to be super responsive? Is it going to be super secure? All of those quality attributes that the directives and the constraints on the project, as well as the usual ones that people come across, and that is the expected level of quality that is going to be achieved, usually manifested in these very, usually very strained decisions about when the product will be released. It's usually not a case of its release when it's defect-free, but how many defects can we tolerate, and what kind of defects can we tolerate. So these are the decisions that actually are direct manifestations of the policy coming down from above, and the quality management system being capable of answering those questions. As having mentioned that, that now talks about the feedback that goes back up to the tactical level. That is the measures of quality, measures of how well the processes are doing, measures of the product that's going on, and measures externally as well that happen from time to time. Now again, we'll have a look at the problems that occur at this level, the problems at the operational level. The usual problem is that you have unachievable goals, usually because the people who demand that we achieve these goals is not their skin. And how do I put it? There's this belief that you must set aspirational goals to stretch people, because if you don't set the aspirational goals, then they won't put in the effort, and they won't do any better than they did last time, and it just won't work as well. That may be, but when the goals are completely unachievable, that is fairly counterproductive, and it leads to some very poor practices going on. Insufficient or wrong resources. These will compromise the quality management system. So we're talking about insufficient or wrong resources for the quality management system, not for the software development system. So if there are not enough resources to take the data, record the data, analyze the data, and report on the data, then the quality management system won't work that well. And invariably, that leads to poor product. Poor, unclear, or wrong reports and measures. I've spoken about that before, but I'll say it again. If you're measuring the wrong thing, it's not going to help. And frequently, almost invariably, people measure the wrong thing. They measure what's easy to measure, not what's necessary to measure. And we're talking about some very hard questions that have to be answered by these things. The other one that we can talk about is ineffective improvements. Again, runs on if you are taking the wrong measures of the process, you're probably going to make the wrong improvements to the process as well. So they are the problems at the operational level. So in summary for this brief look at a quality management as a system in three layers, we have that there is a system of quality management that fits in quite well with the value creation system in an organization. The system of quality management is one of a number of interacting systems within the organization. Remember, we have the quality management system, we have the value creation system, we have the financial management system, the HR system, probably the policy generation system, the customer monitoring system, the sales system, possibly inventory system, supply system, a number of systems in an organization. And the quality management system is one of those systems, and it has to interact with all the other systems as well. The poor integration with these other systems usually will lead to problems. So if you have the quality management system that's not well integrated with the accounting system, then things aren't going to work that well. What I spoke about most was the breakdown of the action of directives and constraints from one level of system onto the level below it, and the consequent feedback and emergent properties coming back. Now, dominantly, the resources, the directives and constraints and resources coming down tend to be in IT systems. We have the requirements for the product, we have the budget, the scope, or the requirements and the scope are pretty much the same. The budget and the resources. The budget, and I guess if you say, well, we'll fix the resources, then that fixes the budget, doesn't it? But the budget's also constrained by the project schedule, delivery time. Anyway, you get the infrastructure, the resources, the schedule, and the scope to be done. They are in many ways the givens, and the directives are achieve that. Part of the directives are the quality goals to be achieved, among other things. The information coming back is, as I say, invariably measures and other information to assess how well the system is functioning, how well the quality management system is going, aside from how well is the project going. Now, I've said a number of times during this talk that a frequent problem within software development is that poor quality information is coming back. It's not accurate, or it's not specific enough for the problem at hand. So they are usually the problems of the quality management system. So that's a very brief introduction to it, or a brief look at quality management as a system.